Hello guys. We are making progress. We are moving. We are almost gradually coming to the end of SURD. After rationalization, I think we should deal with conjugates. But those ones are not. But the major one is rationalization that we need to take care of. And the conjugate is not also hard. They are very simple. Just follow the procedure. Okay. So now we are moving to rationalization. Rationalization. Okay. So most times when you see a sword, say A over root B. In sword, you don't have sword at the denominator. No, you don't have sword at the denominator. So most of the time, what we do is to take that sword away from the denominator to the numerator. Okay. Then how do we do that? What we do is that we this is numerator. I've mentioned this at the beginning. That's part one of sword. This is denominator. Yeah, this is denominator. Okay. Now the process of taking away this sword from the denominator is what we call rationalization. Rationalization of the denominator. Rationalization of the denominator. Okay, that is the process of removing sword from the denominator. The process of removing this root b from the denominator is what we call rationalization of the denominator. Okay, so it's very, very simple. So before we can do that, what we need to do before we can have a rationalization of the denominator, a over root b, what we need to do is that we multiply numerator numerator and denominator by root b. That is how we rationalize. So to rationalize the question above, which is a over root b, we multiply numerator and denominator by root b. This is what I mean. Root b over root b. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is just to rationalize. And I've told you the process of rationalizing is removing sword from the denominator. Very important. Okay. Then for me to do that, I need to multiply numerator and denominator by root b or by the denominator. Okay. Let me even put all there because most of the time you might not see root b in the question, or by the denominator denominator or by the denominator. So from here, I can now have a root b. Don't forget, that is multiplication. That's multiplication in sort. It's reflecting here. That is why that part 2 or part 3 is very, very important. So I pick one root, I take b times b. So it's the same thing as a root b over b square. Don't forget, square is also the same thing as, I can rewrite this as b raised to power 2 times 1 over 2. Okay, so this is the same thing as square in sword. This is the same thing as square in sword. So from here, 2 times 1 over 2, I can cancel this 2 and cancel this 2 because both are power. You understand? Both are power. So now you now have a root b over b. So you can see that what I've achieved here is to have removed the sword in the denominator. Look at here now. Multiply numerator and denominator by root b. according to what I wrote at as example here, or by the denominator. So at the end of the day, and I've told you that rationalization, it involves removing SURD from the denominator. If you look at this denominator here, this is my numerator. You see numerator? This is my what? Denominator. So if you see this now, there is no SURD here again. No SURD at the denominator. So it means I've rationalized it. Okay? So it is very, very simple. That is what we mean by rationalization in SURD. So let me just give a simple example so that we can see how this transform to reality in forms of calculation. So from here, we could see that, yes, I can say, let me say, for instance, 3 over 3 over root 7. Okay? So if they say rationalize, rationalize 3 over root 7, all I just need to do is that, okay, this implies 3 over root 7 times root 7 over root 7. It's as simple as that. So what I need to do is 3 root 7 over, pick 1, multiplication, validity of SURD. Pick 1 square root and then times the what? 7 times 7. So from here, I can say that 3 root 7 over 7 times 7 is what? 49. So I can now say that 3 root 7 over, what's the square root of 49? That is what? 7. So I've been able to rationalize. Is there any SURD here again? You can see that from here to here, from the question to the answer, there is no SURD again. There is no SURD. Okay? That is from the answer to the question, there is no SURD. So that is what we mean by rationalization. So in brackets, this is what we call rationalization. So you can see that it's as simple as that. So if you see, there are some other questions that you also see that that will be a bit complex. So we'll take our time to use 1 week to tackle different kind of question that can come on the SURD, so that anybody that is going through the series, like everybody going through the series, will be able to understand that, okay, there are some certain ways question can come that you'll be able to answer. Let me say number 2 now. Let me give you another one. Let's say we have let's say 13 over 2 root 5. So, and they ask us to what? Rationalize this. Rationalize. Now from here, I can rationalize. All I just need to do from what that implies that 13 over 2 root 5 times root 5 over root 5. Okay, so that is what I mean by that. Like, oh, sorry, I'm talking about the denominator here. Okay, so that will be root 5 over root 5. So from here, you can have 13 root 5 over 2. Then don't forget, this is 2 times 2 root 5 times root 5. So what you just need, okay, let me first write it out first. 2 root 5 times root 5. Okay, so don't forget, this will now be 13 root 5 over 2. Pick 1 root, then 5 times what? 5. Okay, so from here, you can now have 13 root 5 over, that's 2 square root of what? 25. So, and we all know that square root of 25 is 5, which is 5 times 5. So you can now say 13 root 5 over 2 times 5, which is 13 root 5 over 10. So I've successfully removed SURD from the denominator. So look at the question from here to here. So from the question here to the answer, no more sod at the denominator. No more sod at the denominator. So it's as simple as that. Okay. So please, and please ensure that in other conclusion of this series, make sure you go through it, because it is where we will solve more than enough questions so that it can show all the topics we've done, starting from addition of sod, subtraction of sod, simplification of sod, rationalization of sod. Like you could see from the calculation we've been doing so far, you could see that we've been introducing multiplication in sod. That is, left hand side is equal to right hand side. Root a times b is equals to root a times root b. So that is always showing in our calculation in sod here, which is similar to what we have here. Root a times b times root b equals root a times b. So please, that is very, very important. So in our next part of our presentation, we'll be dealing with conjugates in sod, so that we can conclude this part and focus on questions mainly, past questions mainly, so that everybody or all students can get the full understanding of what sorts is all about in mathematics. And you could see that they are very interesting, they are simple, they're just like chin chin and pure water. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment, so that other people can also add knowledge to what they have. Thank you very much.